This is the second revision video for the WJEC Unit 1 Development section. In the first video we tackled how we measure development and examine varying development within one country. Make sure you watch the video again and make notes on Ghana. That's the biggest hint of what's coming up on the mock paper that you're going to get from me. So this time we're going to examine the Millennium Development Goals. What are they? Why are they needed? And how far has Ghana got to managing to fulfil its commitment before the 2015 deadline? So the United Nations set up in 2000 the 8 development targets known as the Millennium Development Goals. The goals were to measure development in every country and change it by 2015 and change it for the better. All 193 United Nations member states and at least 23 international organisations have agreed to achieve these goals by the year 2015. But what are they? So, number 1, end extreme poverty and hunger by halving the number of people who live on less than $1 a day and halve the number who suffer from hunger. Now, lots of you are going to turn around and say, yeah, but $1 is not, it's not a lot here, but it's loads in their country. If we measure what you get for $1 here and what you get for $1 there, the difference is not that, it is quite staggering. They do not literally have enough to feed themselves. Even if things are cheaper there than they are here, they do not have the money to feed themselves. And consequently, you've got thousands upon thousands of children who have never known what it's like to be full of food. The second one is to achieve universal primary education to ensure that all boys and girls complete a full course of primary schooling. They have the basic education to get better jobs. Promote gender equality to make it easier for girls as well as boys to access primary and secondary education. We've talked in the past about how lots of families can't afford to send all of their children to school, so they only send the boys with a view that it's the girls' job that they stay at home and look after the family. To reduce child mortality by 2/3 of the number of children who die before their 5th birthday. It is an unfortunate fact of life that in countries that are less well off than our own, a large percentage of children who are born healthy will die through disease, lack of food, lack of access to healthcare, and a number of other problems. It is a very big part of the Millennium Development Goals to reduce this number. To improve health for mothers, reduce by 3/4 the number of women who die in childbirth. There was a documentary on the BBC about the number of babies born, and it examined children born in 4 different countries. In Sierra Leone, you are more than 4 times more likely to die with your child in childbirth than anywhere else on the planet. Another one is to combat AIDS, malaria and other diseases, to halt and begin to reverse the spread of these killer diseases, and to ensure environmental sustainability, protecting the environment for future generations, to halve the number of people without access to clean water, and to improve life for 100 million people who live in shanty towns by the year 2020. The last one is to build global partnerships for development, to make improvements to aid, to boost freedom, justice and democracy, to make it easier for the poorest of people to have access to medicines, to cancel some debts and reduce others, and to make world trade a fairer place. So what will the examiner ask you? Questions such as, which region in the graphs has made the least progress towards achieving the Millennium Development Targets? Use figures to support your answer for 3 marks. These are always popular. They rely on you to read the information carefully and make accurate readings of the graph. Use your ruler and a pencil and draw a line to the axis to make sure you are as accurate as possible when writing the figures down. So let's have a look at these graphs. Goal 3 on the left, ratio of girls to boys in secondary school. We have targets for 2015, that's the green line. We have 1991 data, which is the pale blue colour, and 2006 data, which is the dark blue colour. So Asia, East Asia and Pacific have exceeded the target for 2015 by the year 2006. Europe, not quite achieving it there. In fact, it says Europe and Central Asia is actually worse than it was in 1991. Latin America and the Caribbean have exceeded the target. The Middle East and North Africa are well on their way to achieving it. South Asia has increased and Sub-Saharan Africa has also increased. Goal 4, under 5 mortality rate per 1,000 born healthy. The green line is the target for 2015. Now, some people are going to get caught out here. We want under 5 mortality rate to be as low as possible. So we want the numbers to come down. The other thing you're going to notice here, folks, is that they have changed the colours in the key. You have to read the key carefully. In this key, the darker colour is the oldest year and the paler colour is the more recent. So, all developing countries have dropped from 101 per 1,000 to 79 per 1,000. Still quite a way off the target of approximately 38 per 1,000. East Asia and Pacific are on their way to their target. Europe and Central Asia, also big drops. A big drop for Latin America and the Caribbean, Middle East and North Africa. South Asia has also had a big drop, but Sub-Saharan Africa is still lagging behind and is nowhere near its target for 2015. Now, one of the things that they may ask you is, which region is not going to reach its targets? Suggest two full reasons why this region has not managed to solve its problems. Now, yes, it's going to be down to money, but also it could be down to another factor. You could have international debt. Lots of sub-Saharan African countries owe people money. If the money is spent on repaying loans to other countries, there is not enough to pay for secondary education for all. The infant mortality graph is more complex because you have all the different other factors such as poor access to clean water, healthcare and a lack of basic foodstuffs. Remember, Sub-Saharan Africa has a big problem with food. Lots of places have not enough water and the water won't grow. If there's not enough water, you can't grow crops and therefore you end up with famines. You could also state that having less healthcare is also a big factor. Something as simple as immunisations that we have in this country would considerably lower infant mortality rates in Sub-Saharan Africa. These programmes are difficult to implement due to rural nature of many countries in this region and the cost. You also may be asked to assess the effectiveness of one country's attempt at achieving the development goals. How close will they get to achieving it, or will they miss it completely? It may say assess, it may say evaluate. So let's have a look at Ghana. This is goal 1, eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. So the target is halve by 2015 the proportion of people who suffer from hunger. So 1994 we have 23.7%. By 2008 we've got 14.3%. So they're well on the way to being half of that number. So hopefully Ghana will reach goal 1 by 2015. Goal 3, promote gender equality and empower women. So here we're looking at the seats held by women in national parliaments, the percentage of women in the national parliament for Ghana. As you can see, the figure is not really changing. From 1998, you've got 9%. We have a rise in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 with 10.9%. By 2012, it's dropped back down to 8.3. So, goal number 5, improve maternal health. Reduce by 3/4 the maternal mortality rate. So, we have maternal mortality ratio per 100,000 live births. So, in 1990, 580 mothers died. In 1995, it was 590. In 2000, it was 550. 2005, it was 440. And 2010, it was 350. Now, if we carry on going, we'll reduce that by another 90. So we should end up with 260, by my dodgy maths. Is that a reduction by 3/4, or is it more like half? Will Ghana actually reach Development Goal 5 of improving maternal health? The question is, possibly not. But it will have halved the maternal mortality ratio per 100,000 births, which is always a good thing. One of the things that you will be pleased about is on this paper there are no 8-mark questions. You have to be short, sharp, direct to the point. There is no time and no room on the paper for you to write waffle. Choose your facts carefully. Have specific data that you need and learn your facts. Make sure you can use them to write in your questions. Always have a place and some facts, things that could only have happened in that country, statistics that are related to that particular country. When you're talking about development, your case study is Ghana in Africa. Hopefully this has been helpful, and there will be more revision videos to follow.